death never stopped me. In the cold, silent embrace of the grave, my longing for Ling never waned. I whispered to the dreams of those I once knew, ensuring they remembered my deep yearning for her. When life denied us a future together, I decided death wouldn't have that power either. My parents, bless their loyal souls, understood the depths of my feelings. They had a plan, a final act of devotion to their only son. Ling was meant to be mine in life, and she would be mine in death. In our small village, everyone knew each other. I often watched Ling from a distance, my heart racing. Her laughter was like the sweetest melody. To me, she was perfect. But Ling, she never felt the same. Whenever our paths crossed, she'd offer a polite smile, nothing more. I tried to win her over, but she always kept her distance. Yet, in my heart, I was certain we were meant to be together. After my sudden death, my parents were devastated. They missed me every day. One night, I visited them in their dreams. There, I whispered my deepest wish to them, a ghost marriage with Ling. They woke up, feeling it was my true desire, and decided to honor it. They approached Ling's family with my proposal. Ling was hesitant, but seeing the large sum of money my parents offered, her family agreed. It would help them out of their debts. Ling thought, what harm could come from marrying someone who's not alive? Besides, it would help her family. The preparations for the wedding began. Our village buzzed with whispers and rumors. A ghost marriage was rare, and everyone was curious. Ling became the center of attention, which she didn't enjoy. She felt the weight of many eyes on her, always watching, always judging. My parents spared no expense. They wanted the ceremony to be grand, a true reflection of their love for me and their wish to see me happy, even in death. They bought the finest silks for Ling's wedding dress and invited everyone they knew. The night before the wedding, Ling sat alone in her room, deep in thought. The reality of what she was about to do was sinking in. The air grew cold, and the room darkened. I appeared before her, a faint outline, a chill in the air. Ling, I whispered, we'll finally be together. She jumped, her heart pounding. Wei? She asked, fear evident in her voice. Tomorrow, we'll be united forever, I said, my voice echoing in the silent room. As the sun rose, the day of our wedding arrived. The whole village gathered, eager to witness the unique ceremony. Ling looked beautiful in her wedding dress, but her face was pale, her eyes filled with uncertainty. The ceremonial hall was bathed in soft candlelight, casting long, flickering shadows on the walls. Red paper lanterns floated above, their warm glow illuminating the room. Intricate patterns of red and gold adorned the floor, leading up to the central stage where the rites would take place. The sound of the Chinese zither echoed softly, setting a haunting melody for the ceremony. Ling stepped forward, her red ceremonial dress trailing behind her. The dress, embroidered with silver threads forming intricate patterns of cranes and clouds, shimmered with every step she took. A delicate silver tiara rested on her head, her raven black hair cascading down her back. Her face, though painted with the traditional white bridal makeup, showed clear signs of distress. Her eyes, rimmed with kohl, darted nervously. As the ceremony continued, Ling's hands shook. Finally, it was time for the last ritual, and someone gave her the fancy wine cup. The fancy designs on the cup sparkled, catching the light from the candles. Ling looked at the wine and noticed a shimmering movement in the liquid. She took a big breath and took a sip. The taste was super bitter and left a nasty aftertaste. Right away, she felt a cold feeling spreading from her lips, which started turning blue all the way to her insides. Panic showed in her eyes as her heart started racing. She tried to yell, but her voice was barely a whisper because of the poison flowing through her. Ling couldn't see clearly, the room's colors all blending together in a crazy swirl. Her legs went weak and she ended up falling down, with her dress puffing up like a shield around her. The hall erupted in chaos. The zither's music screeched to a halt, replaced by horrified screams. I watched, torn between elation and guilt. The room may have been in turmoil, but all I could focus on was Ling, her lifeless body lying in the middle of the ceremonial patterns. Finally, I whispered, my voice echoing, "We are truly united." Guests shouted, some running towards Ling, while others hurried away in fear. There was so much fear. I love it. I could feel Ling's spirit. She was no longer the vibrant girl of the living world, but a pale reflection in the realm of shadows. Confusion marred Ling's ethereal face as she slowly rose from her physical body. The world around her seemed strange, colors muted, and sounds distant. She looked at her hands, translucent, shimmering, then at her lifeless body on the floor. "Ling?" I said, floating close to her. She looked scared and disoriented. "Wei, is that you? What's happening?" I smiled. "Now, you're with me, forever." She tried to get away, but she couldn't. She was trapped between life and death, unable to find solace in either realm. I said, "You were always meant to be mine. In life, you escape my grasp, but in death, you can't run." In this really cool photography magazine, Jun was totally captivated by this amazing picture of Lian. Her super dark hair flowed down like a waterfall, and it looked so cool against her pale skin. But what really caught Jun's attention were her eyes. They were so deep and mysterious, like they had a bunch of exciting and secret stories to tell. Lost in the depths of the portrait, Jun was startled when his coffee buddy, Xiao, broke the trance. "Dude, she's something else, isn't she? But you know what they whisper in the alleyways, right? Some say photographers who tried to capture her beauty, well, they simply vanished." Poof! Jun felt a strange unease in his stomach, but he couldn't resist the mysterious allure of those eyes. A little voice in his head said, "I gotta get to know her." Jun couldn't wait to photograph Lian. The trendy coffee shop buzzed around them, but all he could focus on was her. Her photos didn't do justice to her real-life allure. Those deep eyes hinted at mysteries he yearned to unveil. "Lian," Jun began, "I've seen many models, but none like you. Let's collaborate." Her lips curled into a slight smile. "It's gonna cost you," she laughed. Their sessions always started in the evening. Lian was very particular, choosing only dimly lit, moody places. Their bond grew stronger with each click of Jun's camera. But Jun couldn't help but notice Lian was always so elusive during the day. And as they spent more time together, this curiosity turned into a nagging suspicion. Weeks went by, and the connection between Jun and Lian deepened beyond just their professional relationship. They had intimate dinners and late-night walks, and their chemistry was undeniable. However, Lian's mysterious nature continued to intrigue and sometimes unsettle Jun. Jun started noticing strange things in the photos he took of Lian. There would be strange blurs or shadows that didn't match the lighting. At first, Jun thought it was just a problem with his camera, but the feeling of unease lingered. One evening, while by the river, Jun felt like the atmosphere was right for him to ask his questions. "Lian," he hesitated, "why can't we ever hang out during the day? And why do the photos I take of you always look weird?" Lian's expression turned serious. "There are parts of my life that you might not understand, Jun." Instinctively, Jun reached out to comfort her, his fingers aiming for her cheek, but she quickly moved away, not allowing the touch. "Don't," she whispered. Jun was taken aback and searched her eyes for answers. "I just want to understand," he murmured. A heavy silence fell over them. interrupted only by the soft sound of the river's ripples. A few days later, June had a plan to surprise Leon. He thought it'd be fun to bring her breakfast without telling her. So, early one morning, he got some yummy pastries and went to her place. She'd given him a spare key, just in case. When he got there, everything was quiet. But he heard Leon singing softly from the bathroom. Trying to be sneaky, he tiptoed closer. He wanted to see what she was doing without her knowing. Jun quietly stepped closer, hoping to surprise Leon with breakfast. From his angle, he could only see Leon's back. She seemed engrossed in something on the counter. He could make out brushes and palettes and noticed her applying or painting something with care, but couldn't quite see what it was. As he took another cautious step, she began to turn around. Instead of Leon's lovely face, it was a monster. It had rough greenish skin, big, bulging eyes, and long, sharp teeth. It looked straight at Jun, and for a brief second, the world seemed to stop. And on the counter, perfectly set on a wig stand, was Leon's face, looking as lifeless as a mask. The sight was chilling, and Jun's heart raced faster than it ever had before. Frozen in horror, Jun and Leon stared at each other, both scared to say a word. The silence was so heavy it felt suffocating. Finally, Leon, holding her human face tightly against her chest, whispered, "You weren't supposed to see this." Jun, trying to sound calm, asked, "What are you?" Leon's voice trembled as she explained her ancient curse. Every day, she had to wear a human face, a mask, to hide her true monstrous form. She had to paint and touch up the mask every day to make sure it looked real. "But the photographers?" Jun asked, remembering what Xiao had warned him about. Leon looked away, feeling guilty. "I was hungry, and they were there, but with you, I felt something I haven't felt in a long time." Despite the danger she posed, Jun felt strangely drawn to her and weighed his options. Leon saw his uncertainty and made a creepy offer. "Help me find food, and in return I won't hurt you." Driven by a mix of fear, fascination, and affection, Jun agreed. Together, they traveled from one place to another. Jun took beautiful pictures of Leon and played the dangerous role of leading her to her next victims. You just never know, they might become your neighbor one day.